Hello friends, I am Swati Patankar, a mathematics teacher from Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan's Paranspe Vidya Mandir, Kothurud, Pune. Usually, mathematics is thought to be very dry, abstract and fearful subject. And that is why I planned many activities to teach a lesson, square and square root, and made it more enjoyable and interesting. When students will learn this lesson, they will able to find out square of a number, square root of a number, then a perfect square, and they can relate different patterns with squares. I introduced this topic with a square piece of paper. I just folded it vertically and horizontally from the center and asked the children how many equal parts they can observe over there. I noted the answer on the board. Similarly, I folded for 3 times, 4 times, 5 times and all the answers I noted on the board. Then I asked students, please identify what is the relationship between the side of the square and the total number of equal parts. So, this activity was just to relate the concept of squares. Then I said, let us find out factors of certain numbers like 24, 36, and as the students were better able to find out the factors, they started listing the factors. 2 into 12 is 24, 8 into 3 is 24 and so on. For 36 also, they made the set of factors. Then I asked, observe these two sets and identify what is the difference. Is there any special thing? The hint here was the student were able to tell me where the factors of 36, there is a number multiplied by itself. And then we call 36 as a special number. And students could find out different special numbers like 25, 49, 64 and so on. To explain factors to square, we perform one interesting activity in the class with graph paper and 1 square centimeter paper cutouts. Ask students to write down the factors of 36. You can provide students a 1 centimeter cutouts of graph paper and ask them to arrange the squares in either 6 by 6 square centimeter or 9 by 4 square centimeter or any other combinations of 36. While performing this activity, we can ask them different questions like, can we find out the factors of 36 with unit squares? What's the relationship between the side of the square and the area of the square? And what does the square number mean? Or what is the meaning of square of a number? While performing this activity, we can discuss the shape of the final figure and factors of the number as well as square of the number. The students understood how to calculate square of the number, and then we can give them different examples to find out squares of different numbers. After understanding the calculation of square of the number, then I performed another activity to focus on perfect squares. As a part of this activity, ask students to draw a table of the square of numbers 1 to 10 and then ask them to find patterns in those squares. See, like this. And then I divided the class into groups and distributed flashcards to each group to let them find out the square with prediction and understanding the pattern. You can also make a list of all the numbers up to 150 with their squares on the chart paper and put it on the flannel board. With this activity and the chart of squares in front of them, let the children discuss various ways of finding squares of different numbers, squares of bigger numbers, and we can put forth certain brainstorming questions like What is the pattern? What is the relationship between the perfect squares? And observe the horizontal rows and vertical columns like squares of 41 to 50, squares of 61 to 70, then horizontal rows like squares of 5, 15, 25, 35, etc. And what rule they can derive from this. And then we can give certain hints also. Let us children find out what do you get with this activity. For example, add the consecutive odd numbers starting from 1. 1 plus 3, 1 plus 3 plus 5, 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7. And to their surprise, they will get all square numbers. I was amazed to see that one student came up with different method of finding out the square of the number from Vedic maths. That method also we discussed in the class and all of them appreciated. Dear friends, this was the most interactive and fun session that I had in my classroom. Once I finished the concept of perfect squares, then I moved towards square roots. For square roots, you can draw their attention to our introductory activity, that is paper folding activity, and we can establish the relationship between sides of the square and its area. Give the flashcards with numbers in the class and then let the children find out which are perfect squares and which are not. They will analyze, they will factorize the numbers and find out which are perfect squares. We can tell them to compare the set of factors of perfect square and the numbers which are not squares. Let them come up with the idea that perfect squares have even number of factors. We can put different questions like, if the area of a square is 25 square units, then what must be its length? Children can easily tell it's 5 centimeter. Then we can draw their attention towards this is the same relationship between squares and square root. Once the concept of square root is understood, the teacher can develop a square root tree with the help of children. After teaching squares and square roots in the class, I just told my students that we will perform one magic at home. Go home and tell your parents to give you certain number. And you can find out the square and square root of that number within 1 minute. When children performed this at home, really they were very much happy. And then as a revision also, we performed certain game in the class. It is very interesting. I just tell you, take a deck of playing cards, remove kings, queens and jacks, all face cards, and just take the number cards. Shuffle the pack very well, arrange the students in a circle, and the first player will remove the first 2 cards and try to make a square out of it. The person who can make it will win 10 points. If the player can make 50 points, he is the winner of the game. This game was very much interesting and enjoyable, and we can make different rules to make it more interesting. Like if the 2 cards, their addition, their multiplication, you can take different operations and give certain points. If the multiplication is a square number, he will get 3 points. If the addition is square number, the player will get 5 points, and so on. So, do arrange this game in your class and enjoy. Indeed, it was a great experience to perform different activities in the classroom, and the students really got involved and they enjoyed these activities and the learning experiences. Dear friends, do try these activities in your classroom too. And let us know what are your experiences. Okay, there is one more thing. The details of these activities are given in the text lesson plan, the link of which is given in the description box below. Hope it will be useful to you. Thank you.